All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City of Antioch Special City Council meeting of April the 1st, 2025. It is now 6:01 p.m., and Madam Clerk, can you please call roll?
Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Councilmember Torres Walker. Councilmember Freitas.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Rocha.
Here.
Mayor Bernal.
Here.
I will note for the record that Councilmember Torres Walker is absent at 6:01 p.m.
Thank you. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we are here tonight for a budget study session for Public Works. It's for fiscal year 2025 through 2027. And if our Madam City Manager, Bessie Scott, could please lead us off on this.
Yes, thanks so much, Mayor and Council. We're here tonight to talk about the budgets for Public Works. Our Director, Scott Bunting, will be actually at the podium, and our Deputy Director will be here at the dais should you have any follow-up. And we also have our Finance Director here as well. So they're going to go through about 43 different budgets and contracts for the next 2 fiscal years. So I'll turn it over to the Director.
Thank you.
Oh, actually, we'll have the staff report first.
Yes.
I forgot that last time, too. Sorry about that. I haven't had dinner.
Yeah, she did her staff report first, yes.
Yeah, I'll just be sort of brief in my comments. As the city manager said, we'll be going through the Public Works budgets, which go beyond the general fund. There's special revenue funds, such as the Lighting and Landscape District funds, enterprise funds, as well as the general fund. So those will all be discussed in the presentation that Director Bunting is going to be giving. In the staff report, I did provide some answers to some follow-up questions, but the one item I at least wanted to get in front of the council for this evening for an overall general fund budget update is regarding PG&E gas franchise payments that the city receives. We found out last week we get an annual payment for gas and electric franchise fees from PG&E, and we had the unfortunate notification that our gas franchise fees are falling approximately $1 million almost this current fiscal year, which causes us to adjust the projections for the next fiscal year down by $1 million, just over $1 million each of the next 2 fiscal years. So cumulatively, that's about a $3 million hit to our budget. Acting Assistant City Manager Helfenberger has reached out to our PG&E rep to try and gain some clarification into why the significant reduction in the fees that were received, and they will be circling back with him to get us into contact with the appropriate person at PG&E to discuss the variance, what's the reasoning behind it, and what we can maybe expect for the next 2 fiscal years. So as soon as we have an update on that, and that is a high priority for us, we will definitely report back to council on that. And some unfortunate news for the budget that we'll have to address as we move forward, looking at the general fund specifically. But with that, I will turn it over to Director Scott Bunting to go through the PowerPoint presentation.
Congratulations, Director Bunting.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. It's my pleasure tonight to be discussing the Public Works budget for fiscal years 25 through 27. Before I get started, I'd like to thank some people. I'd like to thank our IS department and the people in the back who put these things up for us, get them on YouTube. And I'd like to thank our finance department for all the work that they've done helping me put this budget together. In addition, I'd like to thank Carlos Zepeda, our Deputy Director of Public Works, for the work that he does every day, Julie Vire, Lori Medeiros, and Rachel Harris, who had a lot to do with putting this together. Okay, so we're going to start off with a little bit of discussion, or at least my discussion regarding Public Works, what we do, what we're proud of, what we are accomplishing. To start off with, we provide maintenance services for the city of Antioch's roads, parks, marinas, open space, flood control areas, water and sewer lines. Our water treatment and water distribution divisions provide safe, potable water to all of our residents. Our crews provide 24-hour emergency response related to water, sewer, and public infrastructure. Our GIS system provides mapping for activities that are used throughout the city. We provide technical engineering services and support to all city departments. And we design and we construct capital improvement projects. We also develop plans, we review development plans and maps. Here's a look at our organizational chart. There's 136 FTEs, 121 of them were filled at the time that this was created. It means there's 15 vacancies. This particular presentation will work from right to left on this organizational chart, meaning the first slides that we look at will have to do with administration, then to GIS, and we'll work our way down to the left, ending with capital improvements. So look at our staffing overviews. As I said, 136 FTEs, 121 filled. Currently, there are 11 positions within our collection system. The equipment operator, facility maintenance worker, as well as the lead collection systems worker are currently in the works of getting filled currently. There are 4 vacancies, as you can see, in water production. Those will be filled probably coming up next fiscal year as the water treatment plant, the RO system desal project comes online, and there's need for additional staffing up there. In addition, you'll see that there is a number of vacancies within the engineering department, both capital and development. One of the things that will happen really soon, we need to get ourselves an assistant city engineer, as well as 2 senior engineer positions that are open within engineering. We need to rebuild that department with management staff. Public Works uses a lot of funding sources, as you can imagine. The general fund provides funding for administration, streets, traffic signals, street lights, facilities, parks, landscaping. Our work alternative program, engineering, that's development engineering, as well as capital improvements. The streets, light, landscaping maintenance districts, sorry, it's excuse the typo, provides maintenance to assessment districts. This particular funding source is heavily subsidized by the general fund. We also have internal services, vehicle replacement, equipment maintenance, and GIS. We utilize enterprise funds, our water fund, our sewer fund, as well as our marina, our enterprise funds that the city has. Special revenue and capital projects, we utilize roadway maintenance and repair account, that's RMRA money, gas tax money, and Measure J money for roadway investments. When doing park investments, Delta Fair funds as well as park and lieu funds are utilized. And to improve our green space, often it's utilizing the channel maintenance and parks and open space funds. A few of our highlights, there are many of them, but here's 4 of them. One was a replacement meter reading software to provide better consumption records, reports, and leak detection. This is available to our customers. We installed water circulators throughout the marina. This reduced the aquatic vegetation growth due to stagnant water. We've implemented a storm line cleaning program. This has bettered our system's performance, prevents backlogs within our system, storm drain systems and channels to help prevent flooding in the future. We've also implemented a new management asset system called CityWorks that integrates with our GIS to provide real-time work orders and its location to staff working out in the field. Again, so here's some goals, here's some highlights. There's many of them. Here's a handful of them. We want to complete the HVAC system upgrades throughout the city. As you all might be aware, it is an issue. We have some older buildings. They have some upgrades that need to happen. It's something that we're in the works of, but we do need to continue for all of our buildings. We launched a trenchless repair program for sanitary sewer laterals. This improves efficiency, minimizes disruptions. This is a liner that would be in your sewer lateral. It's called a top hat, typically, that would go in the sewer main that would prevent typical leaking that happens at the connection between your sewer lateral and the main. Not something that we do very frequently. Currently, we will in the future. We've implemented an inventory control program utilizing computer maintenance management systems to improve inventory accuracy. And we hope to commission, and we will be operating the brackish water desalination project in the near future. Finally, we hope to replace all our battery-operated irrigation controllers with wireless connections to improve access and management of our irrigation systems. Okay, so we have over 40 budgets. We're going to start with administration. I'm going to go through them. It would be great if we could discuss them as we go, because there is so many. If there's something that we're not interested in, it would be great to let me know. Like I say, we are looking at 40 budgets. We'll walk my way through them, but if you do have any questions, it would be great if we could catch them as we discuss it right now.
Mr. Bunny, I just wanted to go back and just ask you, I didn't know if we were going to go through the whole thing, come back and, I'm not familiar with the Delta Fair Fund. What is it?
So the Delta Fair Fund is a park fund. It's basically used to repair or do work in parks that were built before 1980.
Okay. All right. And I'm just curious on the accomplishments, the replacement meter reading software. Does that mean that we have the ability to see people's water use throughout the community?
Well, we have the ability to know where the water is used. This program actually allows the customer to be able to utilize that information and to see it also.
I'm just thinking when we have droughts, you know, one of the most difficult decisions I had to do was have water rationing when we had a drought in the 70s of 50 gallons per person per day, and that was very difficult back then. So I just, you know, so this would be able to be used during the droughts and things of that sort for data?
It could, yes.
Okay. And the other, on the 26-27 goal, you know, I live off of Deer Valley Road, and, you know, usually at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, the sprinklers are going, the roads, you know, are getting wet. So is this going to help us monitor the water usage on some of those medians?
The irrigation controllers upgrade will help with the process. Oftentimes when that happens, there's a problem with the system. Oftentimes there might be a broken head or something like that that's causing water to be spraying abnormally. Typically they are on controllers. The existing controllers do work, but yet they're battery powered. These will be able to be better controlled by our staff.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, so administration within Public Works, management support for all of the departments' daily operations. We address the public's concerns and service needs. This is the first of our budget sheets. As you'll see, most cases, the salaries are increasing, as well as the benefits are increasing. They've been broken down so you can see both of them so that you realize it's not just salaries. There is a driver of the benefits portion of that personnel costs. And then I guess on the end of this, there's really nothing special on this slide. If anybody has any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, question. So in fiscal year 23-24, last year it shows 58 or 86,000 for salaries, and next year it's going up to 337. What's that discrepancy? And it shows it's 1.7 FTEs. So I'm just wondering what that discrepancy is.
The city engineer and assistant city engineer position have not been funded for 2 years. And the salaries are expected to actually be made real with employees in future years.
Yeah, just to expand, there was vacancies. We've had a acting director for quite some time, and there's also an analyst that's paid out of that position. So now with the position being filled, there'll be salary.
Okay,
charge that, so.
got it. And then also, computer and phone maintenance, that also has gone from like 72,000 a couple years ago up to 252. Why such a significant jump in those numbers?
So with an increase, that allocates the budget of the Information Services Internal Service Fund. So as that budget increases, it gets allocated to each department based on the number of computers and other additional services needed by each department. So as the Information Services budget has increased over the years, that increases the allocation to the departments.
But to like a 3 times factor? Does that
Yes.
seem, yes? Wow.
What's causing it?
Well, there's been one significant, we've increased contracts for website maintenance. We had to increase cybersecurity measures actually quite a lot over the last couple of years, which really bumped up contractual expenditures within the Information Services Fund.
And then on the internal services, it shows as a negative, so,
That is correct. So it's a portion of the Public Works budget that's getting allocated to other Public Works divisions outside of the general fund. So allocated to water, sewer, gas tax, RMRA.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next area we'll look at is our Geographic Information Systems, or GIS. GIS provides management and support for GIS-related activities throughout the city. These activities include design, development, and maintenance of spatial databases, acquisition and data conversion of accessor parcel data, GIS data linking to internal software. GIS also provides support to all departments for GIS software applications, and their dedicated support for the Public Works Maintenance Management System. Again, one of the things that is happening with all of our budgets, the salaries and benefits are increasing. If there's any questions regarding this particular budget?
It's a, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
It's actually a question to Ms. Merchant. The internal services, so in the last budget, we had negative numbers. This budget, they're all positive, so I'm not quite sure.
So this fund is getting an allocation of internal services from the general fund, as well as, yes, so because Public Works oversees this, so part of the 12140 budget goes over this, part of the city manager's budget goes this, part of city council, so it's all part of the cost allocation plan.
So on the prior one where the numbers are negative, you said they're spread throughout the,
Right, so the negative is taking a portion, for example, of the administration budget, it's taking a portion of that budget and then distributing it to other funds. So then this is receiving a portion of that allocation, so it shows as an expense to this division.
so the administration is a negative, and so part of that internal went to GIS, is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a okay,
Yeah.
right, thank you.
So another aspect of what we're going to be presenting to you is the contracts associated with the budgets. So here you have, they'll be for 26 and 27, so the future budgets, what we're proposing or what we're expecting. As you'll see, something like this, GIS does have a large portion of it as contracts, and here is basically software and consulting services. Our fleet and facilities, they manage the city's fleet inventory and services. They provide service to all city-owned and leased building facilities also. So this fund provides for the service of most city facilities. Again, you have an increase in salaries, and for the most part, the budgets are relatively similar to what we're going to see for the most of our presentations.
We had heard when the police made their report about a repair, a pretty large repair at the police department for their roof. Is that included in the facilities maintenance, or is that in the police budget?
So that is not included in this budget. The PD has their own facility maintenance budget, and we gave them the information at that time so they could request the funds into that budget. So they should have been asked for at their budget study session, I believe.
Okay, got it.
It is not included in the police department budget at this time. It is one of the, if you recall during the police budget presentation, you know, projects that were funded, and then, you know, they talked about kind of additional projects they need funding for, and the council did discuss making sure to add all projects that would kind of be coming in the pipeline that they would need to address during the budget. So any roof repairs are not included at this time in the police department budget.
Okay. And Scott, would we expect that to end up in the CIP budget as well, or a CIP program for like the roof repair at PD, since it's such a big project?
I would expect it to. We try to bring in what we can from the various departments. Some departments are able to do it within their funds, but we do try, and we continue to try to collect as many things into the capital program. It's better bookkeeping, and we'll talk with the PD, and hopefully it'll be included.
Okay.
If it's a project that that is chosen to be funded.
Okay.
Here's the contracts out of facilities. Honeywell does provide a number of services for us. You'll see that they have a few contracts with us. But again, these are contracts related to the upkeep of our facilities.
This one, I noticed that Honeywell is $140,000 in fiscal year 25-26, and then zero for, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So are those contracts being completed, or it just seems kind of strange, because then we pick them up again in 26-27.
So some of those are for specific maintenance repairs and upgrades, and that's why they're like one-time costs allocated to that. So that's an upgrade specifically for City Hall electronic zones. Once that's done, that cost will be, you know, zeroed out.
And what about the ones that are zero, but next year there are costs associated? It's like 150, 155,000.
Yeah, so 25,000 for one of those. Those will be one-time projects, yeah.
With the work being proposed in 27.
Okay.
And are some of these charged to enterprise funds, like for example, filter gallery and lab, or is that the water treatment plant?
There are contracts within the water treatment plant. These particular ones are for facilities.
So this is all general fund funded then, all the ones we have here then?
So, if I could speak to that, we will charge it, if it's a water fund, at a water fund facility, we will charge it towards the water fund. It will not go against the general fund.
Right, right. It'd be good to be able to see what's general fund and what isn't, just so that, since the general fund's really the thing that we're focused on here, so.
Understood. Next up, our vehicle replacement fund. Again, there's work in progress. The budget is similar than we've seen as before. Is there any questions regarding this particular budget?
This year's 4.4 million for equipment is because of the large vehicle and equipment purchases we've
Yes, sir.
seen
It's
recently.
rollover money for the purchases that have been basically not purchased over the last 3 years, as well as what was just recently approved by council.
There was recently 26 vehicles for PD approved, so that's why it jumped up
Yeah.
for this fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
Vehicle equipment maintenance. This is pertaining to our vehicle shop. Once again, you have our salaries and benefits will continue to increase. Budget's remaining relatively stable. If there's any questions?
Thank you. It's a minor one, but interest earnings pooled, are we pulling?
So all the city's investments are pooled, and then we allocate interest earnings based on the cash balance of each fund. So we get a pooled amount of interest, and then
You allocated?
we allocate it based on the cash balance.
And we're expecting that to go down this year,
Well, so we.
I mean, overall.
well, overall, our interest earnings, we're hoping will remain at the level that we got last year for the next 2 years. Myself and the city treasurer did meet with our financial advisors, and because we had an advantageous market and interest rate environment, our investments are in the 2 to 3 year benchmark. So we should be earning the same amount of interest earnings overall for the city. However, a fund's interest earnings will fluctuate based on the fund balance in that fund. So you will notice when we get back around to the general fund side, we're projecting interest earnings to be reduced in the next fiscal year because our fund balance is becoming so low. So another fund that has more cash balance could experience a higher interest earnings, if that makes sense. For example, the water fund could get more interest earnings because they're getting a bigger piece of the pie because they have a higher fund balance.
Here's the contracts associated with our vehicle shop. Again, parts related to running a vehicle shop. Our streets department. Streets department is wonderful. They maintain and repair roads, right-of-ways, and parking lots. They manage the operation and maintenance of all traffic signals and signal controllers, street lights, and traffic loops. Street maintenance fund, predominantly gas tax, street impact fees are funding this. Is there any questions regarding this fund? Sorry, I guess you want to see it. I apologize.
So are we still using the pavement management system?
Yes.
Okay. And so new residential streets have about a 20-year life. I've been living in the same house for 35 years. I've never had a slurry seal, chip seal, or any repair. And the streets are deteriorating. So is the system working?
I believe it is. Our system, our streets do need some work. We are going into a round of basically the Cape Seal for the year will happen next year, so we'll be reevaluating our 5-year program. And that's something that we'll be looking at. We're also going to be moving forward with a new reporting to get the new pavement index. We have a consultant. We have a TPAP grant that's going to provide the engineering to move forward with further evaluation of our roads. At that point, that mixes in with our evaluation of what we're seeing to kind of regenerate the 5-year plan. So we can take a look. It's our intention to keep roads in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, I raised the question. It's it's something I personally experienced. And I'm just wondering, is our subdivision just unique, or are there a lot more roads that have not been repaired, slurry seal or chip sealed for another 10, 15 years? And the reason why I raise that is that if that is the case, then we need to take a look at it for future funding for repairs. That's the reason I'm asking.
Understood. It may be a volume and probably is a funding thing. We will be looking at that as we move forward with this budget and the capital, as well as reevaluating our 5-year plan. If in fact it is an option to pull more money into it to continue the work that we're doing, that's something that we may be requesting.
Do you happen to know what our PCI is right now on our streets or about?
I believe it's at 72.
Are we losing ground on that? Is that, are we?
I believe we dropped a point from the last study that was done.
Okay. And then also on the contracts, so this year it shows $665,000 for contracts, and then next year it's dropping down to 286 and 290. Do you know, I was just looking on the next page at contracts, and that shows what is proposed. Do you know what the difference is between this year and next year?
We had some rollover money that we brought in from fiscal year 24 for some projects that we want to complete, and that's why it shows a little more increase in this fiscal year.
Okay.
Additional street sweeping was included within this.
Oh, that's right, and there was a comment that was.
So we were asked to provide additional street sweeping, and we made a contract with the contractor that sweeps for Delta Diablo, our city, and that was around $225,000. And that's to provide an extra sweeping of all the arterials monthly, plus $75,000 was included in that for any special areas that we want to sweep and clean up. And we've done about 3 or 4, I think, in the Sycamore area over the past year. But that will be expiring, that contract, that money will run out at the end of this fiscal year. So if we want to continue that program, we'll have to, allocate funding for that.
And that's an additional, like, once a month on the arterials, did you say?
An additional sweep, yes.
Okay,
So it turns out to be like every 2 weeks, I think, a sweep.
okay.
I think it has helped to keep the arterials cleaner, because we get significant windstorms in the city here, and then we get a lot of the droppings from the trees into the bike lanes especially, and we get a lot of complaints from bicyclists and stuff like that. It's hard to keep them clean with just one sweeping.
Okay.
So it would be something that we would want to maybe consider keeping that extra sweeping.
So, on that note, so when the council actually begins to take a critical look, will staff be providing, some of these issues for us to consider?
So I believe it's spelled out in the staff report, the street sweeping.
No, I saw that,
Mhm.
but, okay. Okay, I'll wait till later.
Yes, we would, if requested, be able to present something, whether it's that particular extra sweeping plan or another plan that the council might want to implement. We could look at that moving forward.
Mr. Mayor, there are other reasons for street sweeping. One of them is the NPDS program. And so there could be, if we ever took a look at the revenue stream there, since it has not been changed for 20 years, that we might want to take a lock at that as a revenue source for increasing street sweeping, catch basin cleaning, and things of that sort, like most of the other cities and towns in Contra Costa do. And so I'm just raising that. I think it's a significant issue on multiple topics, and we need to come back because there are opportunities to increase that revenue. So I just would like to see that when we get to that point.
Understood.
And then do we still have a proactive pothole crew that goes out when it's raining and does that?
Yes, we have a proactive crew on every storm event that comes up. We have crews that are basically on call, ready to go out after the storm and patrol during the storm, putting out flooded signs and checking for potholes. That happens at every storm.
Okay. Yeah, I just noticed and heard folks tell me that there's a few more potholes than they used to see in the city, just around, so. But in any event, that's good, we still do that.
Street maintenance contracts. Signs and repairs, of course, are necessary, as well as asphalt. So your signal street lights, this is traffic signal, street lighting. This particular fund is contract driven for the most part. Any questions regarding the fund budget sheet?
I had one question. One concern that's been raised in District 2 had to do with street lighting.
Mhm.
And I think a response that I received from City Works was that there's 2 phases. I think there's one phase coming up for consideration, I don't know if it's this month or next month, and then there's a second phase. And I believe the first phase was more of the downtown to the north. And I would imagine that the second phase would be on the south end. I was kind of curious to, what's the timeline and how is that going to, because I know I hear from residents that live in Mira Vista housing area that the lighting's pretty dim there, and I think it was told, maybe you can help me understand it, but I think it was going to some type of UV or some type of different type of lighting that was, can you maybe clarify that for me?
Sure, the lights are going to be switched over to LED lighting. We do have a project, we've been in consultation with the consultant for quite a while, trying to get an inventory of all of our heads, all the lights throughout the city. The first phase of work will be from the freeway north, and replacing those heads as we do that. And then the second phase may be everything to the south, again, without having funding in place, that the exact number may vary. I can't tell you that everything south of the freeway happens in phase 2, but we are moving forward with the first phase, and we will be continuing implementing. Something that's within this budget is unfunded street lighting, and if that's something that the council does choose to fund, we'll be continuing to swap out these street lights.
Yeah, I was just bringing it up because I know that that's been a concern that it's been raised by a number of residents in regard to safety, and for residents that in the evening, like the area that I've heard about is not too far from where I grew up, really, which is in the the Mission Drive, Rio Grande area, and those close to where Lucky's is,
Mhm.
that some of the streets there get pretty dark at night, and that's where the question was being asked to me is, at what point will those be addressed? So that's why I was asking these questions. So there's a two-phase process that we'll go through, and will that be presented in terms of like a budget that we're looking for 26, 27, and how those two phases will happen?
You'll have the opportunity to look at the 26, 27 budgets, which do include this street light replacement.
Okay.
So that would be something that you would be able to consider with this next budget system, this next budget evaluation.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor? Thank you, Mr. Bunting. As our city is growing, we've had a lot of streets where the lanes have been restriped or adjusted, but I noticed in some areas, there's at least two on Lone Tree where the lights haven't moved with the striping, so there's some confusion where if a left-hand turn lane has been moved to the left, the light has not been moved to the left, so you have people still in that particular lane confused of, oh, is this red light for me, is this red light for the turn? Because it doesn't have the arrow for the turn. I'm not sure if the new striping over on Lone Tree, making that left on the Hydorn, if that's been changed. I know there's been a lot of confusion with driving over there. I'm just curious, is that on our, are we going to adjust those lights so people are not confused as to which light is mine and which light is the left-hand turn light?
Yes, it shouldn't be confusing. We can take another look at what we have going on out there. But it shouldn't be confusing if traffic signal heads needed to be relocated. They should have been relocated with the project. But we can take a look at the situation out there and still make adjustments if necessary.
There's one in particular going southbound on Lone Tree near Tregalis, that left-hand turn into that shopping plaza. There seems to be a lot of confusion with that particular light.
Okay. I know where you're at. Okay.
Thank you.
Just one other answer to the question that Mayor Pro Tem Rocha had. Yeah, there's been complaints about our streetlights for a number of years. That's why we're trying to move forward with these new LEDs. So we understand. One of the possibilities could be that lights aren't operating. If that's happening, then if somebody could let us know, we can go get those fixed and replaced so that will increase the lighting. There could be other reasons out there. There are trees that need to be trimmed, other things that are blocking the light from getting down to the street, that if we at least know the location, we can go take a look.
I was going to ask, with that being said, with the LEDs, what neighborhoods, what residents would have LED lighting, just to get a visual comparison for myself if I was to take a drive and take a look?
They're spotty. We just put a set out at the intersection of Miniker and Wilbur, so that intersection has 4 LED lights in it. That might be something to look at. They're the brighter ones if you see them.
Okay.
The newer subdivisions will have brighter lights too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so all the new subdivisions in southeast Antioch will have the new LEDs, and any light that gets reported to us as being out, if it's the old style, we replace it with the new LED style. So we have made some replacements along the way in the last 2 years. We're not replacing them with the old style currently.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick question. How much money is in the traffic safety fund? Roughly?
I'm kind of confused.
It says transfer in from traffic safety.
Yeah, so that money, almost the entire balance comes into the signal and streetlights division. It has to be accounted for in a separate special revenue fund because we get targeted revenues that can only be used for traffic safety. So based on what the revenue collections are in that fund, the money gets transferred from the special revenue fund into this general fund division to pay for the streetlights.
So it's pretty much everything in it?
Yeah,
It's
there's
transferred?
there usually is a little bit of a fund balance that shows at year end because, for example, in June for like whatever the June traffic safety, we don't get that till July or later, so we don't have the cash to transfer,
Right.
so it becomes an accrual. So yes, and the traffic safety fund will be part of this budget presentation slide moving forward at some point too.
Is that an impact fee, the funds from the traffic?
It is
safety
not
fund?
an impact fee, no.
So where does that money come from?
So we get the money from the county. They disperse to us monthly. They give us a breakdown of different fees collected, and so they'll tell us the amount that's allocated for the traffic safety fund each month, so.
Okay. I have one more question. So are further on in this report, are you gonna talk more about the LED streetlights, or is this it for now? I'm just curious about how much money is allocated to do north of Highway 4 and how much it costs to do everything, and just to get an idea of budget-wise where we are with that project.
So those, there's a portion of that that'll be talked about as unfunded projects. But in terms of a detail on the plan, that's going to be in your capital improvement plan. That's going to be ready in a month or so, that you'll be seeing the detailed explanations of all the projects at that time.
So that's the time we would see that.
That's the time when it would be great to be discussing the capital projects in depth. That would be awesome. You will see what's funded now. We will have the opportunity to see the general fund projects that are here, as well as the unfunded projects that are listed within Public Works.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, streetlights are important. Get our street lighting all, as quickly as possible, all LED in the city.
We are moving forward. We're moving forward quickly with that. Here's the contracts with your signal and streetlights, as I said. So basically in this, we have Contra Costa County, who maintains our traffic signals, and you have DC Electric, who basically, they maintain our streetlights. All right, Marina, Parks, and Landscape, the fun stuff. 7-day-a-week operations at the marina. We maintain, we upkeep the city's 34 parks and administer the Memorial Tree Program and the Children's Memorial Tree Grove. We landscape, provide maintenance for landscaping for 21 miles, 42 acres of medians, and 85 acres of streetscape along major arterials and right-of-ways. We oversee the maintenance operations of the street light and landscape maintenance districts also. Here's your parks maintenance budget. Any questions regarding this budget?
A quick one. So in fiscal year 24-25, we're spending 1.9 million, but for 25-26, we're reducing it by roughly 600,000. So the question is, what is the impact? What's going to happen with the $600,000 decrease? That's about a 30% drop.
So City Council in the last budget had authorized some additional landscape enhancements and work, and then also allocated some Measure W money as part of the quality of life, about 300,000 additional to make some like one-time enhancements in the different lighting and landscape zones. So that's just additional work that was authorized by City Council in fiscal year 25. So 25, 26, and 26, 27, you can see kind of gets back down to a normal base operational level for lighting and landscape districts. As you can see in fiscal year 24, it was 1.3 million. So we're getting back to that level.
Okay. So it was one-time money in fiscal year 24-25.
Yes.
So for example, would the Lone Tree Way project be one of those that being worked on right now, the Lone Tree landscaping that's being done?
Yeah, the median enhancements, yeah.
So the next 2 years, we're not showing any median enhancements then in these two budgets? Is that
So
correct?
this is just one of the funding sources. There's another one, I think we're using Measure J to fund the median landscape enhancements also?
Yes.
Or is it
Yes.
gas tax?
Yeah, one of the funds is paying for some median enhancements besides that. But yes, for the general fund portion, for most of the lighting and landscape districts, what's being paid directly out of there, it's returning to base level of operations to maintain the medians and landscaping. No additional special work is being budgeted out of there.
So this one is for parks maintenance, this budget here we're looking at right now, and then the next one is median and general landscape maintenance. So is the landscape projects we're talking about in the parks budget, or is it in?
So just historically, the transfers to the lighting and landscape district have come out of the parks maintenance budget, even though it involves median and maintenance work, rather than kind of having a headache of splitting the general fund transfer between two different divisions when it's really all just coming out of the, Public Works budget. So it's just accounted for in one division rather than splitting it between parks and median, because then you have to determine, for example, each expenditure, is this really for just a median strip or something else? So it's just for ease of accounting, the fact that it's coming out of the parks maintenance budget, but, it could be serving either purpose in the lighting and landscape budgets.
Okay, and so to that point, there's no park upgrade projects being proposed for next year or next 2 years? No restrooms, no playground, nothing like that?
There is some money being asked for to do some minor repairs, but this wouldn't be the renovations of parks. That would be in the CIP program.
Okay,
And those parks projects would come out of, for example, the Delta Fair Fund, if it was a pre-1980 park, the Park and Lieu Fund. Those are separate than the lighting and landscape districts typically aren't paying for neighborhood park projects.
The money here is for more day-to-day maintenance of the parks in general. If it's a bigger project, it usually is a CIP project, and it'll be reviewed as part of the CIP budget review.
how long is the contract that we currently have with the current landscape contractor? Do you know?
So I believe we're in the third year of a 5-year contract.
Okay, did it start off 5 years, or was it 3 with 2 year,
3 was 2.
3 with 2? Are we happy with their level of service?
They're doing a pretty good job in the parks, yes.
Park maintenance contracts, Miracle Systems for playground, and there's TerraCare providing maintenance at the parks. Landscape maintenance, citywide medians and open space maintenance is being provided through this fund. Again, if you're looking at the budget sheets, again, the same thing, you're seeing salaries increase throughout all of the budgets. In particular, is there anything regarding this budget sheet that you'd like to discuss?
Does this budget include sound wall maintenance at all, or?
Yeah. Yes, in fact, you'll see money that's in 25 that is still being hoped to be used for those sound walls. We are a little bit behind on that due to the vandalism of those sound walls. That money is going to be for replacement sound walls, basically.
That's the line item that says vandalism accidents. There's 400,000 in there for this fiscal year, and then there's 210,000, depending on the number of. This primarily just takes care of vehicle accidents that run into sound walls, the repairs, and minor repairs. If the costs go above that, we have to come back to council and ask for more funding.
All right, is there any way of having us look at a program to look at painting some of our sound walls that are old, 30, 40 years old, and maybe, obviously we wouldn't be able to do the whole city at once, but maybe start, I know we did some of that years ago, but maybe start looking at painting some of our sound walls, because they're looking pretty rough, a lot of them are.
Yeah, we could look into putting together a program for that.
We're actually already speaking with the streets department about that, because they actually painted those walls last time, and we're already putting together an area of a project for this year. So we are looking at it.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, how many, thinking citywide, of all the sound walls, how many are the city's responsibility and how many are, because I know now we have a lot of HOA communities that they're responsible for it. Do we know percentage-wise, just off the top of your head, how many that the city's responsible for?
So I believe we have about 41 miles of sound wall.
That the city is
The
responsible for?
city is
Okay.
responsible. It's quite a bit. We just, in the last few years, started with the CFDs, turning that over to sound walls to the homeowners associations. So it's a small percentage right now, and it's mainly out in southeast Antioch.
Right, those private developments, those are not the cities to maintain.
Okay. I was just curious what, but I assumed it was going to be a larger percentage that we're responsible for, but I was just curious percentage-wise. Thank you.
Here's some contracts associated with the landscape maintenance. Next up, Marina Administration. Again, this is administration for our marina. In general, you're looking at very similar things than you've seen at the previous in the previous slides. Is there any questions regarding Marina administration?
I'm seeing under the revenue side of it, we're going transfers in from 300,000 to 708. So that's 400,000 more. Where is that money coming from that's transferring in?
So that's from the general fund. If you see, it says transferring from general fund. So the general fund, a few years ago, had to start subsidizing the marina. As you can see from the charges for services, they don't generate enough revenue and berth charges and rentals and fuel sales to cover operations of the fund. Like you can see in 22-23, we collected from customers at the marina 601,000, but our expenditures were 1.2 million. So basically half of the funding for the marina had to come from the general fund.
So I see this year it shows $300,000 transfer in. Year before was 685. Next year is 708. Why the big discrepancy between this year and next year?
There was, if you notice in 23-24, the initial adopted budget was about 1.2 million, but we had 300,000 in unspent budget, and so that rolled into the fund balance in fiscal year 25. So there was an additional few $100,000 available, so we didn't have to subsidize the full 685 just from the accumulation of fund balance from not spending quite as much in 23-24.
Where does the rent for the office space there, is that included in this revenue here?
Yes, but there is no current tenant.
Okay, are we actively pursuing a new tenant out there?
That was my understanding. That was being handled by the Economic Development Department.
When is the loan on the marina paid off?
I believe it's the final stream. I believe it's 2040 or 2042. There's like 5 different loan streams. And so one of them, I believe, is already paid off, and then it's kind of staggered. But I believe it's either 2040 or 2042, I believe, is the final payment date.
Okay, and then years ago, we had talked about a dredging project out there because I know the inlet was starting to get silted up from the big ships coming through. Is that something that's
Still an
necessary?
issue, and we're going to present it to you again. It's unfunded right now, but it is something we need to do.
Are boats having a hard time getting in and out that you're aware of?
Some of the bigger boats sometimes do, but the boats that we have currently are not, but it is an issue if we want to get in bigger boats in there.
Okay,
It does need to happen.
and then how are our fuel sales going? Are we doing all right
They're
with that?
pretty flat. One of the things we're having to replace the fuel card reader because it's the original, so we're in the process of doing that. Maybe that will improve fuel sales from people going somewhere else, because right now we have to have somebody there physically to go pump the gas.
All right,
But we're in the process of changing that out.
okay, thank you.
It's a minor question, but bank charges, I noticed we went from 23-24, $4,600 to 27,000. And then for 24-20, it's 18,000, 2020. What are these bank charges?
So it's the credit card processing fees for when the fuel, it's passed through from the fuel system. So it's the credit card fees.
Wow.
And I believe also for those who pay with a debit card,
Yes,
right, for the berth?
if there are any berth renters that pay by credit card, it's also the credit card processing fees on that.
And one last question on this from me. So we were charging for folks to use the marina parking lot. Is that still the case currently?
We haven't been charging since we shut down the Fulton boat launch. It was decided to provide free parking over here.
So is Fulton intended to be reopened once that project's done, or is it, because it's gated off right now?
It's intended to remain closed.
Oh, so it's going to, okay, so then that means we would not charge then at the parking lot here?
That would be up to council discretion, I think.
I just recall that one of the reasons we were charging was part of that loan that paid for that parking lot had an element to it that had to do with charging people to use it, so I just want to make sure we're in compliance with that.
It should be looked at again. The council may really want to reinstate that.
Thank you.
Marina administration has a few contracts with it, as you can see on the screen. All relatively small numbers.
On this issue, I saw the professional tree removal, whatever it is, 20,000. Are we gonna continue cutting down all the eucalyptus trees there?
So not at this time. The trees that are remaining haven't been an issue, but the ones that were removed, we were having significant dropping of limbs, and we had a couple of claims, limbs that fell on cars. Eucalyptus trees are not really good parking lot trees. It's a shame to have to cut them down because they're so big and, been there for a while, but I think for the liability standpoint, we had to cut them down. The goal is to re-landscape that median with some trees that are, friendly for around cars and people.
So is this, that's really my question. Are we taking the stumps out and re-landscaping? Because it looks terrible now.
So we will. I know one of the projects that's going to be proposed is the EV charging station project that you may, council may approve. And the thought was to landscape after the infrastructure is installed there in the medium if we move forward with the EV project. If not, we can landscape after, once we decide what we're going to do with the EV project.
Now that you rate, the slips that we rent, are we at capacity, half, a quarter?
I believe we're like at 67%.
Okay. Yeah, because I do think the landscaping needs to be attractive since we're charging people to use the slips and things of that sort. So is that gonna be a project this coming year, or?
So we're going to propose it during the CIP,
Okay.
the EV charging project. Depending on how that goes, we may hold off on the landscaping until the EV infrastructure is installed and then come in with the landscape after that. But we can do the landscape in-house. It's not a big project for that median.
I just, because as a restaurant, it should be attractive to bring people into this particular area, and it's not too attractive.
I agree.
Is the parking lot at the marina still sinking, or is it pretty well settled out at this point?
They continue to move.
And then-
Slower in the marina parking lot versus the boat launch.
And does the boat launch ever get to the point where it floods out and people can't utilize it in the wintertime? Has it gotten to that point?
It has flooded rather dramatically in the past.
Okay, and it's still sinking though, or it's still settling?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mainly, the only times that it's when king tides happen, the storms of the king tides, that's when it's been flooded out. It's only happened, I think, twice this year.
So here's a summary of the Marina Fund. The Enterprise Fund is a parent fund for this.
So where it shows net pension liability, is that included in the overall pension liability that you showed in your staff report?
Yes, but for enterprise funds, because it is, to not get down in the weeds of accounting, but you have to recognize the liability directly in each of the enterprise funds versus the general fund. It's not recognized directly in the general fund for that share. And so because we have to recognize the liability, what it does is it takes an immediate hit to the fund balance as if we've spent all the money already. So just for purposes showing we really don't have a negative fund balance, you have to add back in the net pension liability. So
Okay, thank you.
But it remains a liability.
that is correct.
Okay, so next we're gonna jump into the street lighting landscape maintenance districts. There's a number of them within the city. Currently, there are 2 of these zones that do have escalators to them that can be adjusted. The others cannot. These districts were established to account for revenue and related expenditures for lighting and landscape activities throughout these districts. These districts should be supported by property tax. However, the districts are heavily subsidized by the general fund.
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
So on this subject, we were all here, I was here, when we created the lighting and landscaping districts, and then later on, there was a vote to reduce some of the lighting and landscaping districts, and we've never gone back to the public and, you know, revisited some, because one of the complaints I heard throughout the campaign is the condition, why don't we look like Brentwood? You know, and some of their landscaping and things of that sort. I mean, I've heard it often. And so could there be some consideration, because people, if they know, if they're gonna be charged and getting something for it, which actually enhances the value of their house and sellability and things of that sort, they might consider the possibility of passing a small assessment. Because I remember, you know, Dave Rowlands, the city manager at the time, and the city council, remember one particular council member. And so I'm just wondering, since we've suffered literally from the initial concept of creating the landscaping districts, and then the public vote, which abolished a lot of the funding for them, if we ever wanted to go back and revisit it, and I know it's probably now been, I don't know, 25, 30 years, you know, but I think there might be the opportunity for us to go to the property owners themselves, because they're the ones who complain the loudest, quite frankly, about the landscaping within their particular area. And I just raise it as a possibility for us to look at in the future. That's all. I mean, the general fund was never, ever envisioned to be paying for the lighting and landscaping district, ever. And so, but we have for about 25, 30 years. And I do think we need to go back and take a look at the original concept, so.
Understood. If that's going to be council's direction, then it's something we can look at.
Do you have a page in here that just has an overall summary of all the LLDs and then the total general fund contribution?
Yes, yes, we do.
Further down? Okay, we'll get to it then, that's fine. Just wanted to.
Well, we have the fund summaries for each district, but I don't think we have,
Total?
not a total for all. But in the staff report, I believe you call out the fund transfer for street lighting landscape, right?
Yes, there is about the 1.3 million general fund direct transfer. However, I will note that there are some zones that don't have a separate fund set up, and so those are paid directly out of the general fund parks and median budgets, because they're not set up as a separate zone fund and don't have assessments. So that's not part of the $1.3 million transfer. There's additional monies that are for those zones that have no assessment set up. So I'm not sure what that cost is, or if it's broken down in the budget.
So where is it?
So we can go through some of these. There are a number of districts that have multiple zones. Maybe rather than looking at all the zones, those ones we can just stroll back to the summary of all 4 zones within that specific district.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Just on the question that Ms. Merchant brought up, I think we do need, the council needs to know what the total general fund expenditures are for everything, those in the LL district as well as those in zones that don't have an LL district.
So the majority, if you look on page 2 of the staff report, on the transfers out column and expenditures,
No, I understand that, but you also mentioned there are these are all LL, right?
yes.
But there are other zones that the general fund pays for, correct?
Yeah, I believe there's like 3 zones that don't have any dedicated assessment.
Is it a big expenditure, small?
Not to this, but we'll have to drill down and get back to you
I
for the
just think
exact
it's
amount.
important for the council to know the whole general fund expenditure for lighting and landscaping in zone or in LL districts.
Sure, we can put like that together. Now, we do not have that currently, I
That's fine.
apologize.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So here's a map of our SLLMD areas. Might be a little busy, I apologize. But if we need to refer back to it, please let me know. We're going to start off with the Lone Tree Maintenance District. Like I said, we have a number of these districts to review. They all have maintenance contracts associated with them. This particular district is located pretty dominantly, or actually south of Lone Tree Way. Is there any questions regarding Zone 1 in this district?
No. I do have a question on this page. So
Yes, sir.
under the fire break, mowing and disking, has the new fire requirements, is that expanding the width of the disking that we need to do? that you're aware of?
No, those requirements are still the same.
Okay,
And we follow those, and the contractor, we meet with them, and they have those requirements, and we inspect all the areas. Though, the distances and that have not changed.
okay, good, good.
Thank you. Okay. Here's Zone 2. Within the district, you see that there is some transfers in from the general fund. Is there any questions regarding this budget?
No.
Again, there's some contracts associated with the same thing, fire breaks, some tree care, property tax. Zone 3 within this district. Again, you can see the transfers in from the general fund. And the contracts related to that particular zone. Lastly, Zone 4 of this district. The contracts are similar, excuse
Yeah,
me?
quick question. Do you know why we pay property taxes on any of these properties?
It's not that we're paying property tax. We have to pay a property tax administration fee. So since the assessments that we do collect are collected on homeowners' property tax bills and they remit the money to us, they charge us essentially a service fee for that.
Okay, thank you.
Contracts in Zone 4, very similar. So here's a summary of at least the 4 zones within this district, which is pretty much your district south of Lone Tree Way. See down at the bottom, you can see the fund balances per zone. There's transfers in, there's transfers out, just because there's multiple zones within this district. Any questions? Awesome. Okay, so next is the Downtown Maintenance District. Very little, if not any, money in here. Transfers from the general fund is driving this district. As you can see in the transfers in from general fund.
I see the fund balance is going down to $2,000 in 26-27. Is it a normal requirement we keep a certain percentage of the total cost as a fund balance?
We are not supposed to maintain more than 6 months of operating expenditures, but that's for ones that actually collect an assessment. This fund does not collect an assessment. It's entirely paid for by the general fund. But for the funds that do get an assessment, if the assessment is enough to cover the district, they don't, you're supposed to be spending that, which you're collecting from the property taxpayers. So.
Okay.
Contracts for mowing, electrical work, and landscaping. Excuse me. The next district we'll look at is the Almond Ridge Maintenance District. Assessment fees are shown in the top. This particular fund does not have transfers in from the general fund. And the contracts, as you can see, they're relatively similar for all the districts. Hillcrest Maintenance District, again, multiple zones within this district. There's 3 zones within this district. Any questions regarding this first slide? Okay. Here's some contracts. Again, they're similar, but they're included. I know it's something that the council was at least interested in. I'm sorry if they're repetitive, but that's what these contracts do. Zone 2 within the Hillcrest Maintenance District. Better assessment fees in this area, but still not enough to cover the entire work that needs to be done. sorry, I'm looking here. There's your Zone 2. There's your contracts for Zone 2.
So Zone 2 had $822,000 in contracts in this fiscal year, and then it's dropping down significantly. What was that for, do you know?
That was a sound wall project. The money was allocated in that district for that, basically one block of sound wall that was replaced on Country Hills Drive. And that's where the money was allocated.
Okay.
Irrigation controller also in the area need to be replaced. Zone 4, which is the last zone, there is no Zone 3. We go from 1, 2, and 4. Is there any questions regarding this zone? Okay, we'll scoot past the contracts, very similar. The next slide, here's your summary again. So now you have 3 zones, so it's a much more robust budget that we're looking at. You can see that your fund balances are down the bottom for zones 1, 2, and 4. Any questions regarding the summary? Awesome. So now we're into our Park Maintenance District 1A. This is the area pretty much west of Gentrytown, includes our RV lot. The assessments, you see that we do bring in rent for the RV lot. Any questions regarding District 1A? The contracts for that district. Excuse me. Okay, next up, citywide District 2A. District. This is one of our larger districts. It's kind of the middle of the city. There's 10 zones, 3 of which are dead zones, which do not receive any funding other than subsidies, no assessments, that is. So the first one on Zone 3, is there any questions regarding this zone? Okay. Here's the contract. You'll notice that there is a bay alarm contract on that. That is for the RV lot in that area, as well as other landscaping contracts. Zone 4 within 2A. General fund subsidies for this particular zone. Any questions regarding the budget sheet? Oops. The contracts for Zone 4. Zone 5 within District 2A. Very similar. General fund contribution to subsidize. Very little assessments. Zone 5 contracts. Zone 6 within 2A. Similar. A little bit more assessments for this particular zone. And the contracts for Zone 6.
So I'm noticing the contracts are going down in pretty much all the zones pretty significantly, I'd say percentage-wise. Is there an overall reason for that? Like Zone 6 goes from 131 to 47, for example.
Sure. You have enhancements in the area that need to be performed. In some cases, there's too much work for our contractor, so you have rollover money coming into 25 that's being utilized now. And then as that work is done, most of it's right-of-way enhancements and other sort of things that just need to be performed within those zones. We do the best we can through this fiscal year, and then at the end, we'll true up what hasn't been spent and be able to move forward. But that's what you're seeing is rollover money and work that just enhancements in those areas that need to be performed.
There was extra funding that was provided by council in the last budget cycle, so there's some enhancements that still need to be performed in the right-of-way areas in those zones.
Okay.
Zone 8, very similar, a little bit less in terms of subsidies, some more assessments being generated in this zone. Again, same sort of thing. You'll see your contracts. There's mulching that needs to be done in that area. That's what you're seeing in 25. That's why the numbers decrease from 25 to 26. We'll go to Zone 9. Very similar that we've seen before. Is there any questions regarding this particular budget sheet?
No.
Zone 9 contracts, very similar. Zone 10, the last zone within this particular district. This has some work around the Markley Creek area, shade structure that we need to repair up in that area, as well as just maintenance and repairs at the dog park in general is kind of the carryover into 25 right now. Hey. All right, that was fun. So there's our contracts for 10. There's our summary for District 2A. So that's the first part of that. If we go forward right here, you can see the fund balances similar to what you're looking at on those other multi-zone districts.
And so those fund balances are just consistently going down, and I expect that's so that we don't have to contribute more general fund money into these accounts unnecessarily, just to have a fund balance. Is that true?
That is correct.
All right.
Street lighting landscape maintenance district administration. Here you can see the revenue sources. This is money coming in from the other maintenance districts to fund the administration. Here you can see the expenditures. This fund will be used to help support other funds, other maintenance districts, if there's not enough money in them, provided it's reasonable and attainable. It's also used to purchase fertilizer. There is the contracts for the administration. Again, they're general for what we're seeing in these maintenance districts in terms of landscaping and other general amenities or general work that needs to be performed.
Is our tree maintenance currently reactive? We don't have a proactive tree maintenance program, or do we?
No, we are doing proactive. We're going out and assessing areas. We've actually increased our spending over the last budget cycle, asking for more money for that work to try to reduce liability, fire hazards, that kind of thing. So we are doing more proactive work, but some of it is reactive, of course, after storms.
Will you be, can you identify for us the proactive versus reactive, just so we can see how much additional we're spending for that, or estimating to spend for that work?
Yeah, we can drill down on that and get back to you on that.
And some of that does go together. You might go out because a tree's limbs have fallen, and you look around and you see other trees are in the same condition. So there is a proactive part of that, even though you are reacting to a situation that happened. East Lone Tree District. So far east side of Antioch. This one does have good assessment fees to it. Is there any questions regarding this district? The contracts for this district, very similar. Okay, so that ends our street lighting and landscaping maintenance district section. We'll now move forward with something else. So this is water production. Water production is very important to the city of Antioch. Water is one of the things that we have that others don't in terms of our water rights. Our water production folks, they operate a 24/7 operation at the water treatment plant. They're under regulations and oversight of the State Water Resource Control Board, Division of Drinking Water. And they ensure that the water distributed out to our citizens of the highest quality and meets all state and federal standards. They're responsible for the operation and maintenance of 2 water treatment plants, combined capacity of 36 million gallons. You guys might not know, but our water treatment plant is comprised of 2 separate water treatment plants, 1A, 1B. This is one of the aspects of our facility that allows the desal project to be successful. We were able to just use half of the plant, and the other half was able to keep running. In addition, water protection is responsible for the municipal reservoir. That's the reservoir over by the golf course. Our river intake pump station over at Fulton, and we have 11 booster pump stations and 12 water tanks within our system. So here's our water production sheet. You'll look in through here, you'll see some differences, contracts, chemicals, utilities. At this point, we're doing our best to estimate the desal plant coming on board is something we're trying to do our best estimation of where we'll be. We'll know more next year at this time once the system's been running, chemical costs, utility costs, things like that. So we do have budgets in here, but we are looking forward for the actual project to be fully functional. Any other questions regarding this particular budget sheet? Water production has some contracts. Biggest contract that they have is with Contra Costa Water District. That's the purchase of water. Numbers 12, 13, $15 million. It's a significant amount of money that we spend. Part of our desal project is try to limit that amount, to try to purchase less water and utilize our pre-1914 water rights as best we can, to try to minimize the amount of water that we do purchase from Contra Costa Water District.
On that, Mr. Bunting, I noticed that for 25-26, we're talking about 13.4, and 26-27, we're talking about 15.5. So a $2.1 million increase. Is this primarily because of rate increases and the purchase of raw water? I mean, I was a little surprised at this with the desal plant coming online. I mean, that's a significant jump.
Sure, and it's again something that we'll be looking at with the increased cost of purchased water from Contra Costa Water District, with some unknowns with the desal project. I do expect these to be adjusted as we keep moving forward. Right now, there is an escalation on them. In the event that things kind of keep moving forward, if we do purchase more water, but it is something we're going to look at. I understand it is significant, but there are some unknowns left in this, and as we move forward in the budget process, we'll drill down on this.
But there are water rate increases coming from Contra Costa Water that we know. And we have been pumping from the river for the last 2 months, so we are making some savings. I think to date, we've been able to save about $2.3 million by pumping from the river every day. So we've been able to realize some savings.
Yeah, that's been a good savings for us, as well as we want to get the desal project up and running. If the river is fresh and we can continue to just pump it and treat it conventionally, that's by far our best method of producing water. So next we'll talk about water distribution. So we have the water's at the plant, the water goes to the tanks. Our distribution folks take care of it coming from the tanks to your faucet. So they maintain the city's treated water and raw water distribution system. They manage the city's meter reading, backflow prevention programs, and central stores. They also operate a 24/7 operation, always a standby. Our crews do respond 24/7. Okay, so here's a budget sheet for water supervision. Actually, this is just the revenue portion of it.
Why do metered water sales jump 18% in fiscal year '27? Because I thought the rate increase was about 10% a year.
It does incorporate the rate increase, but the analyst that prepared the budget was also looking on what was estimated to come online from like new water connections and new homes. So the number, as we progress over the next fiscal year, if homes coming online, water connections end up being a little bit less, of course that number will be reevaluated. But it isn't just, it's not that there's an 18% water rate increase. It's also an estimate in the new water connections coming online.
Okay. Moving on. Okay. Anyway, this is the funding for the supervisions. Wait. Same sheet. Sorry. Okay. Now here we go. The expenditures.
Could we go back to 82?
Can we go back
Page
to?
82?
Can we go to 81?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
My question's on 82.
Okay.
Okay, so we have sources of fund interest earnings pooled and then NO, I don't know what that means. But what I saw was significant that it went from 250,000 to 2.6 million.
Yes, when we put the budget, remember that this budget was initially put together, 3 years ago essentially. So the initial budget was set up with a $250,000 interest earnings, just based on, initially we thought we were going to be drawing down on a whole lot more fund balance for the brackish water plant. Initially before we, because we have to spend the money and then we get reimbursed from the Department of Water Resources. And so that was initially put in the projections when the 23-25 budget was put together almost 3 years ago. So then we're revising it based on actual interest earnings from 23-24 and projections going forward of the fund balance in the water fund.
So this is constant for 3 fiscal years?
Yes, because the
2.6
fund
million?
balance is about the same, and as I did mention that our financial advisor said we should be earning overall the same amount of interest. Again, it might end up being a little bit higher since the general fund is dropping down, the water fund will end up getting a little bit more, but it's hard to exactly pinpoint how much interest earning each fund's going to have because we allocate it monthly based on the month-end cash balance at that point in time when we're allocating the interest. So we know it should be at least 2.6 million, and based on, depending on what happens with the general fund, we may have to bump that up going forward.
And then the metered water sales go from 27 million to 32 million, 18%. And so
Right, and that's how I mentioned that it includes not only the proposed, the adopted rate increases, but an estimation of new water connections and usage. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Expenditures. Expenses out of the water supervision. Again, some things on this, basically you'll see that the bank charges also are increasing. You'll see this in most of our things. As those charges get bigger, the numbers get bigger. You'll also see that our debt service, this is paying back the loans for the desal project, hits this year, and you'll see that for years to come. Next page, again, here's some funding sources that are coming in and then how the funds are being utilized. Any questions regarding this fund? Much like water production, water distribution has its fair share of contracts also. We do a lot of work in-house, but there are some aspects of work that we need to have others out help us with. As you'll see here is a list of contracts. Badger is for our meters. Advanced Trenchless is a company that's been used on emergency digs for us. Okay, next one is our Water Public Building and Facilities, CIP. This does show in the capital projects in here, as well as the loans that we've received. It was up on the top for the State Water Resource Control Board. That was for the desal project. And then you'll see that there was some money that was transferred in. That was water system improvement money that was transferred in as a council action related to the desal project.
Under capital projects for the next 2 years, you show 12 and 15 million. Are those, what types of projects are those going to be? Or
I got them on the next sheet. Okay, so let's go to those projects. So this is what we're looking for. This is your revised 25, 26, 27 projects scheduled to be constructed in the capital or our 611 fund. There's a lot for us to work with here. You'll see that the desal project right now is currently one of the bigger things that's happening. A couple things that are important at the water treatment plant are water reservoir storage. Our water reservoirs need to be rehabilitated, make sure they're in conformance with any sort of earthquake stuff, as well as that they're sealed completely. We also need to move forward with an electrical upgrade. Now granted, the water treatment plant's been under construction for 5 years with this desal project, but there's other work that needs to be done there. In particular, like this electrical upgrade in Plant A, very vital for us to get done. It's been on the books for a while, but the desal project did come in. Again, a number of projects here. If you'd like to discuss any of these that we're looking at, there is a second page to this also. But is there any questions regarding this sheet?
So when it, with the 2 pages, I'm looking at the 26, 27 budget again. It says it's $8.8 million total, and then but the number is $15.5 million for capital projects. I'm wondering what that was. What I was asking about the discrepancy on.
So there is a discrepancy, and I apologize in putting this together. Some of the numbers for capital are relatively recent. We're in the middle of trying to do that. So the sheet, the first sheet that you see, does not have the correct numbers on it. But if you did go, and when we do get to sheet 89, that does show the correct capital project projections. But there is, I agreed, there was some movement in this. It's kind of separate. You can look at the capital projects. We could talk about that. In terms of the entire fund, we can look back on page 89. A lot of this stuff is going to take a little bit more effort on our team, who's put forth a lot already, but to put this out to get it for our capital as well as the budget in the future months.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any questions regarding these capital projects? Great, thank you. And now on this is, yeah, the next slide. This is our, what? Wait a second, I apologize. So here is the 611 fund summary. As I was speaking of, is there any questions regarding this budget sheet?
Mr. Bunting, again on personnel, it just, this fiscal year, we're at 10 million. Next is 12 and a half, and then it goes to 13. So it's like a 30% increase. I understand there's some increases in salary and benefits, but a 30% increase in a 2-year period of time seems significant.
There was a lot of vacancies in the water fund throughout the year, and actually in the last, 1 to 2 months, a lot of those have actually been filled. So that really is a result of vacancy savings.
You've seen, you've had 6 new FTEs rolling in 25.
Okay.
as
So
well
that's
as well as you have the increase in salaries and benefits.
$3 million seems like a very, very big number for 6 employees and some salary and benefits.
It's definitely something we can look into and just make sure
But if you
that,
notice, the adopted budget was the 12.5 million right in there, and we reduced it because of vacancy savings. So if you notice, the 25-26 actually, puts it pretty much in line with very little change. And the reason it actually decreases a bit from 25-26 to 24-25 is because as people came in and filled the positions, they either came in at a lower step, took a lower medical benefit, for example, than what was initially budgeted for.
Okay.
thank you. Next up, water system improvements. So these are funds that can be used towards capital projects within the city of Antioch. You'll see the revenue sources. One of the great things about this particular fund is council made an action for us to stop purchasing water capacity at Contra Costa District's Randall Bowl plant. Those funds that were going towards that Randall Bowl plant for capacity are now coming to the city of Antioch to help pay down our desal project, which also gains capacity for the city of Antioch. So that's that FRF, the treated water capacity. That number you'll continue to see in future budgets also. Any questions? Collection systems. So City of Antioch has a collection system. We do not treat our wastewater, but we do transport our wastewater from the residents down to Delta Diablo. Very important. Our system is quite old in some areas. We've done a fantastic job of getting into it, doing lining, keeping its maintenance up high. A very small number of spills. The crews do an excellent job working with our capital staff as well as maintenance. It's a very vital aspect of the city, and they do a great job. They do provide wastewater collection. They also work with storm drain and channel maintenance and that service the entire city. They manage the Public Works Alternative Work Program in conjunction with the Contra Costa Sheriff's Office.
Can you give a little bit more details there? How many people?
How many people are in?
Roughly. I mean, just give us a little bit more information on the alternative.
Oh, within the Work Alternative Group?
So the numbers vary on how many people show up every day. We really have no control over that. It can be one person, it can be 0, or it can be 5 or 6. It just varies.
And so they come and we put them to work.
Yeah,
Okay.
they go and assist mainly in our creek areas, maintaining our creek areas, helping the NPDS crews.
Okay.
There's our collection systems budget sheet. You can see that there is funds. Sewer service fees are a major portion that provides funding for this particular fund. Very similar when we're looking at salary increases. Is there anything that you guys would like to discuss about this budget sheet? Okay. Collections, our collection systems, much like the others, they do a lot of work, but yes, they do need some help. These are the contracts that we utilize, emergency repairs. We have root chemicals. There's a lot of things that go into it that if you guys really want to go down and get into the weeds and talk about it, I'd love to, because it's very important for us to maintain a sewer system that's adequate and transports sewage correctly.
Do you know how many overflows we had last year?
6.
Did any of them make it in the waterways? Sure, all right. And how many services are you maintaining? How many services?
It's Toby Beach, our superintendent for collections.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, Council. I do not have the actual number of connections that we have in the city off the top of my head. I can get that number and report it back to you if you'd like.
Yeah, I guess my point is 6 overflows is not bad for the number of connections we have.
The collection crew does a very well job on keeping the system maintained, keeping the fats, oils, and grease from clogging up the sewer system.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job over the past
Yeah.
10 years or so.
Yeah, thanks.
One thing regarding that, we are in the process of selecting consultants to update our collections master plan, as well as our water master plan and our urban water management plan. All these things are past due to get redone. If you guys are really interested and do want to know the number of connections or anything in particular, just shoot us an email. I also don't have that number on hand, but I know that it did go out in the RFQ also.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, collection systems, these are capital projects. So the top one you're going to see has to do with the trenchless rehabilitation. That's of our mains. We line our sewer lines. Quite often, we end up with little cracks. You end up with joints that just leak a little bit. So you line them rather than replacing them. It's a much more economic way of doing this. You'll also see a corrosion rehab project. That has to do with just the wear we get typically on our manholes. You end up with wear on the manholes. They start deteriorating. This fund will allow us to do that. You also see West Antioch Creek outfall in there. So we had the outfall had some issues with the floods or the rain that we had back in the winter of '22. We're currently working with FEMA to do some other work. There's money here within the sewer to help out with that aspect, as well as just provide any matching funds that we might need. And the summary of 621. Anything you'd like to discuss about this?
Yeah, our fund balance is going to negative $3.5 million in 2 years. Can you explain that?
That includes the pension and OPEB liabilities. A row should have been added similar to like you saw in the Marina Fund. I'd given Scott the balances of those. I think he has.
Sure,
written down.
sure, and I apologize again. That was my mistake of not getting it in here. But your ending balance in 26 is expected to be about 5.2 million, with the ending balance in 27 of 2.6 million.
When do we expect to do another rate study on the sewer?
So we have rates scheduled to be implemented in July 1st of this year and then January 1st of next year. We will be looking to do a 218 rate study sometime relatively soon to look to expand that. So towards the end of this year, we'll be discussing that again and looking to get rates in place so that there's a rate plan in place for 26.
All right, thank you.
Sewer system improvements. This is the collection side of the capital projects. Again, if you look down at the bottom, you'll see capital projects is kind of the driver in terms of expenditures. Sewer main replacement is one project that's here. And then you'll also see East Antioch Creek outfall. Again, money in there has to do with the outfall for trying to repair that and utilize this money in that fashion.
Is there any reason we're not doing any capital projects in 26, 27?
No, other than when we're looking at the way it's sequenced, it's typically every other year for some of this thing, and when you're looking at it, it just looks like there's nothing there. I think that some of this will be cleaned up again when we present the capital improvement plan to you.
Okay.
Channel maintenance operation fund 2292585. This is another good one. So you'll look at it, and we've got our salaries again, kind of the driver of some of this. The contracts that are here. This is one that has been spoke of. This fund could really use an influx of funds. I do realize that it's not something easy, but if we did have higher assessments having to do with this sort of thing, it would allow us to be more proactive on a lot of these maintenance projects. but that's something to discuss at a later time. Is there any questions regarding this fund?
What are we doing on West Antioch Creek as far as maintenance there?
So West Antioch Creek, so a year or so ago, we did an extension of the project that we initially did. We were able to remove about 3,000, 4,000 yards of silt with the low flow channel kind of between 4th Street and 8th Street. When we went to do maintenance in there, there was an issue with timing and there was an issue with the piece of equipment. It needed to have say the area between 8th and 10th. It's a long reach backhoe. It was hard to get a hold of. They had some issues last time, so they couldn't get in there. They'll be doing more maintenance in that area, trying to remove more tulies and silt. With that being said, we're also pursuing grants. Just the object still is to open that channel up to how it was originally constructed back in '84 and allow flow. We continue to do that, looking for grants as well as looking at the maintenance part. However, so maintenance of creeks, they don't, the state's not looking to allow you to remove a whole lot of material. A lot of it is weeding and that sort of thing, so it's really hard to get a whole lot of silt removed. So the process of us actually cleaning that out and returning it back to its original condition is probably going to be more large-scale capital projects, but we do plan to get out there when we can this season to do some desilting, tule removal, and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And this was our first submission under our new grants contract with Townsend. They just submitted for a federal earmark for this project.
Okay, thank you.
The work that was done there recently in the last few years hasn't helped with the flooding. We don't get the flooding anymore on 10th Street during storms, so there was some improvement. We don't get the flooding on 6th Street on the backside of the courtyard, and 4th Street doesn't flood either. So it did make a difference, what we've done so far.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good project, and it didn't just move it down the street. It seemed like it kind of eliminated it from that area, which was nice.
Okay.
Successful project.
Good. Thank you.
Our contracts within our channel maintenance, as you can imagine, you have some crews to remove some debris, and then you have biologists, which are necessary to do any in-water work.
Mr. Budney, I did want to ask one question. We're talking about the channel maintenance. Now, the Contra Costa District Fair is state property, and so can they apply for grants as well? We talk about Fed, but this is...
The Fairground District could?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, because the Fairground District is kind of, the Fairground entity is a entity unto itself. It's not part of the agricultural district. It is kind of governed, but they pretty much do what they want. So, or their board does. If they wanted to do something in terms of widening the channel through, I'm sure that they could apply for grants just as well as we did.
The reason why I was appointed by Governor Brown, and served 5 years, and we did receive state funding for a lot of that work. And, chair boards change a lot, as well as some of the staff, but I think maybe it might warrant a meeting with them and have a discussion and see if there's available state funding, because there's a lot more flexibility there than with the federal government.
Sure. We're often in communication with the Fairground Board, with Joe Brangle over there. We'll continue that conversation and see if there's something. There's no doubt that there needs to be some cleaning out of that channel.
And how are we doing with our trash capture devices? I know that under our permit, we had to have a certain amount of devices in place. Are we staying up with our requirements?
Yeah, we're doing good. In terms of our crews, we're out there before and after storms, cleaning them all out. We're doing everything that we can with those. We are looking to install other devices, possibly larger devices within Creek's area to try to get more bang for the buck. But the initial trash capture devices that we installed are working fine.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Storm drain administration. You see there's assessment fees that are brought in for this. Is there any questions regarding this fund? Okay. Here you'll see the contracts. You'll see that you have the permitting. You have the trash capture that the mayor was mentioning. It doesn't have a vendor to it, but it is the cost of installing. Next up, National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Fund, 229. This is your summary.
So on this, I noticed that 24, 25, we had 3.6 million. 26, 27, we have 1.3 million. What caused such a dramatic decrease?
Well, the assessments, the ERU, as you had brought up previously, it's been the same.
No, I know.
Seems like forever. And so as our expenditures continue to increase, we're just drawing down on that fund balance. So we're getting to the point in 26, 27, you know, we're not going to be able to sustain much more expenditures beyond the 825,000 that we're getting for the ERU unit. So it is very important, I believe, that the city explore raising that rate. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to sustain any mandated services under, you know, the NPDES or any further projects we'll really have to scale back on projects we do.
Because going back, I mean, it was at almost 4 million, 3.6, 3.6, 2.3, and now 1.3. So it's dramatic. So it really is a call for action. And that's why I raised it during some of the budget hearings. And, you know, there is a lot of flexibility with channel drainage and just drainage in particular that, you know, the NPDES permit could pay for.
We will look into that. We agree that channel maintenance and NPDES are something that we need to somehow get more funding for. The channels aren't going away. So next up, our work alternative program. This is something that we've done for quite a while. It's a good program. It helps out. It does actually help out the city also. There is work done in the channels. It does some clearing and grubbing. You can see that there's transfers in from a couple funds. There are some salaries associated with this. Is there any questions regarding this? Okay, our storm damage fund. So these are funds related to the storm event that we had back in '22. So you have this fund was established so that we could have something to put in the reimbursements that we're getting from Cal OES as well as FEMA as we move forward with these particular projects that need to, they're basically they're rehabilitations that due to the damage from the floods a couple winters ago.
So it shows in next year's budget $2 million coming in, and then it shows us spending $2 million. So was there a project that I missed previously that the $2 million is being spent on, or is this?
Excuse me. It's a number of projects. There was a project list. There was a number of things that were damaged during the course of that. I can get you that list if you're interested to see what creeks were damaged and where we kind of came up with this fund, this particular number. It's all stuff we've been going back and forth with FEMA for quite a while. But if you're interested,
Yes, please.
Okay, great.
So the negative $521,000 means that we would have spent $521,000 more than we were reimbursed?
Yes, there is a project that FEMA has initially denied. That's why we have the negative. Public Works has filed an appeal for that decision. If they hold up the decision to deny, then the city will have to determine a funding source because we can't have negative cash in this fund. So Public Works would evaluate what funds are related to the projects that they're not reimbursing that could absorb the cost of this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up, we'll get into the engineering and development portion of Public Works. This division, they review and approve final maps, parcel maps. We look at public improvements for new residential, commercial, and industrial development. We inspect public projects. We provide information for the city's floodplains. We manage the NPDES discharge permit and issue transportation and encroachment permits. So here's our budget sheet for engineering and development. Again, similar to what we've seen, we have salaries for these particular projects or for these particular funds going up. This one, there is some revenue that comes in from bond check-in, inspection fees and such. Is there any questions?
The encroachment permit number went up about $700,000, the revenue. Was there one big permit or?
There was a backlog of things that needed to, that were processed.
Okay, and so that, and then it drops back down to what we think is more normal for the next couple of years?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so part of the engineering and development side of things, there is a consultant right now. The consultant in past years has been more to this fund. We are hoping to staff up. As we staff up, these engineering consultants go away. So you'll see this decreasing from years past as we continue to staff up and hopefully become a fully staffed with city personnel engineering and development division.
So on this Interwest Consulting, this $500,000, is that in addition to what developers reimburse?
This would be, well, this is their total contract.
Okay, because
In terms of what they would reimburse, it would need to be adjusted if they were spending more money, whether it's getting reimbursed or not.
okay, but so is some of their cost being charged to the general fund? I guess is my question.
Yes, sir.
To do general engineering stuff that's not covered by developers.
When there's not a project necessary to budget to build to, there is a general fund aspect to this. There are some studies and things that just need to be done that don't have a project to build to.
But we're expecting to staff up so that we will need less of their time next couple years.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Capital Improvement Administration. This division provides oversight of the design, construction, inspection of city capital improvements, oversees the development of the city's 5-year capital improvement program, protects the city's pre-1914 water rights, and oversees the special revenue and capital project fund budgets. So here's our budget sheet. This is how the funds are used within the capital improvement department. Salary driven for sure. Some contracts in there. Is there any questions regarding this particular fund? All right. So here what you're looking at is what is in last year's current capital improvement program. These are capital improvement projects that are funded by the general fund. There are a number of them that are in progress. There are some of them that have not started yet. In going down the list, like I say, there is a number of them that we've done. Is there any particular questions regarding what we're looking at as these general fund projects for within the capital improvement program?
I was just curious, what were the murals?
So the murals were a few of them that we did, and I'm not sure what was next on the list, but say the mural that was done by Jack in the Box off of A Street, that was part of the mural program. I believe there was a couple others that were worked on, but that and the utility box were public art projects that had been passed, that had been desired by the council in the past.
So we are stopping all that, 25, 26, 26, 27?
No, we don't have any money scheduled, but we would expect to once this money was spent, yes, we would be done. Is the expectation that the money gets spent right now? I'm not sure, and if it doesn't, it would most likely, with the council's blessings, would be rolled over to the next year.
And the city hall office modifications, 1.4 million. Is that this city hall? Are we doing $1.4 million of modification?
Yes.
What is it?
So the basement and the second floor have not seen any improvements since 80. So this would be to redefine, relook at who's working here, look at their workspaces, figure out how they could be better utilized, and redefine the workspace so that, as people may know, downstairs in City Hall used to be a dispatch. Upstairs used to be a credit union. These things don't exist anymore, but yet we still live in the same walls and still try to make it function. So the hope would be to utilize this to make the workspace better.
So it's analyzing as well as doing the work?
First would be space planning, getting it figured out, and then it would be moving forward with a plan. And most likely you're talking carpet paint and some other facility remediations.
So of the $7.095 million for the revised budget for this year, can we know how much of that has been committed, started, and how much is going to be proposed to be pushed out to next year or beyond, so that we can see what general fund money has been spent so far? Or
Yes, I can do
spent?
that. I know of the ones that are underway, but in terms of the actual funds that have been spent, I need to dig into that a little bit more.
Yeah, that would be helpful, just to see if something hasn't been started yet, that project hasn't been started yet, or it's not as far along, whereas everything's been committed. That would be good for us to know.
Understood. Thank you very much. Should we move forward with the next slide?
Yes, please.
So here's the other fun one within capital improvements. This is the current projects that are unfunded within the plan. So with that being said, these projects have not been started. They will be presented to council later with the capital improvement program as well as with the budget. But this does give you an idea of what we have in the capital right now within the window that we're going to be looking at in terms of unfunded projects that have came to this through many reasons. Oftentimes these are departments that have asked for these particular projects, but yet don't have a funding source, or what. So anyway, any questions regarding this? Again, this is a good talking point. I'm sure that we'll be talking a lot about this in a month or so, but can I answer any questions at this time?
Yeah, I just, the only one is just on the street light improvements. It shows $1 million in the next 2 fiscal years. Doesn't show on the prior list, so it looks like from this list at least that none of it's funded currently.
So it's currently funded in 25. It's not shown on this, but there is funding for the streetlight project for this current year.
Okay,
Not for the years out.
got it. Okay. So when you show capital improvement program unfunded projects, the 24-25 list, these are all unfunded, correct? I mean, the ones you show here are unfunded?
Yes, sir.
We don't have funding currently for them?
There's not been funding allocated, no.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Special revenue funds. So basically these come from specific revenue sources, often need to be spent in a certain way. Again, I got about a dozen of these. We can walk through and talk about it. Please let me know if you have any questions as we go along. Again, on a lot of these, you're going to see capital down at the bottom. It may need to get adjusted, but it is the work that's kind of slotted to happen within these funds. As for the year, may move back and forth, but I'd love to talk about it. So here's our RMRA funds, road maintenance repair. As you can see, there's the fund balance going into this year is about $7 million. The projects that we have slated from the capital, we do a number of things. One, we have the L Street improvement project. That's going to be improvements on L Street between, this particular is the second phase, which would be between 10th Street and 18th Street. Currently in design to widen this. This is one where we're working with CCTA. They've received a $13 million grant that they're pairing with our money to do about whatever this is going to be, $18 million project in that area. That'll be funded out of RMRA. We also have out to bid right now a pavement leveling course project, which is a precursor to a Cape Seal, which would be a final surface course that would happen next year. And that actually is, in that preventative maintenance, the first capital project listed, $1 million next year, that is actually the Cape Seal. That would be the final surface coat within the areas that we do. And then the process starts all over. The year after that, you know, then in 27, we'd be looking to do more plugs, more leveling courses, and then set it up so that every other year you're kind of doing either Cape Seal or prepping for a Cape Seal. Any questions regarding RMRA?
And then do we have a list of these streets somewhere that, as part of the CIP, it'll list what streets are proposed to have the leveling courses and Cape Seals and all of that?
Yes, there's definitely a list of the streets that are this particular project that will be level coursed, which then becomes next year's Cape Seal project. But in terms of a 5-year list, yeah, we have a 5-year list of streets that we're looking to get at that we could definitely share. We need to revise that, as we were talking before. We're going to get new PCIs. We're going to evaluate the roadways so that we can, again, make sure that we got a good solid 5-year plan. Okay, so here's our Delta Fair Fund. So basically, it's basically used for parks in the area. The number one fund usage for this right now is the Contra Loma Estates Park. That's the park off of Mahogany that's under construction. The restroom at this park, actually, I know the park's been under construction for a little bit. We're hoping that it's going to be completed here within the next few months. We're looking at a restroom that's going to be delivered onto the site, I think, within the next couple weeks as they move forward with that park. Those park enhancements. When the park is done, it's going to be spectacular. I can't wait to have a ribbon cutting and look at that particular project. You'll also see in their security fencing, it's something that we have to do frequently. Any questions regarding Delta Fair? So gas tax. So gas tax is money that the city receives from the sale of gas. You can see that there is a revenue source, that the money's coming in at about 3.2 million. We have expenditures, some salaries. Again, you have capital projects. You have money being transferred out also of this fund. In terms of projects that we're looking at, there's capital in there. You'll see that you have 1.7 versus capital. On the next sheet of this, here's your capital that's planned to be paid for out of gas tax over the next couple years. You'll see streetlights, and there is some streetlight improvement money in there at this time. School improvements are something we typically work. There's these TDA grants that are great for working around schools. They're for about typically under $100,000, but we can pair that with a little bit of our money and do some good improvements, some flashing crosswalks, enhanced striping, those sort of things. So that's valuable. Also, you'll see in here the Amtrak station improvements that we're currently working with, and we'll be coming to council here shortly with the conceptual design.
So on the overhead utility undergrounding, does this include A Street?
So the overhead undergrounding, there's $1 million in there, and there's not a whole lot to the program. At this point, I do not have a good place to spend this money. So if there's something that council may want to look into that's relatively small, I would love to look at it.
Small.
Relatively
I
small.
won't do A Street underground.
No, we wanted to utilize these funds to underground some work on L Street, but there's not enough funds within our credits and matching funds on our end. It's just got to be too expensive.
I mean, the A Street has pretty much been the same my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know in the past we talked about doing something 20, 30 years ago. Nothing's really been done. So can we go back and at least revisit that and get a idea what it would cost to underground utilities on A Street, since A Street is the main entrance into our community?
We can definitely look into that. Just down at the bottom of this, it is pretty exciting. There is that county-wide smart signal project. That is a project that's going to be, it'll increase traffic flow within the Sycamore, or excuse me, the Summersville, Auto Center area, basically in between Buchanan and Mahogany. It will also be utilized to increase flow near the freeway on Lone Tree. So basically between Empire and I think Hydorn. Again, these will be enhanced signals that should talk to each other better and be able to increase flow through those areas. So it's grant funded and it's an exciting project. It should be good for those areas, especially the Summersville Auto Center. We've been trying forever to figure out what we can do in that area. Hopefully this will be beneficial.
Good to hear this, especially Lone Tree between Hydorn and Empire can be a nightmare at times, so good to hear this.
Yeah. Park and lieu funds, again, these are used within our park areas. We have not only the Contra Loma Estates Park under construction, but both Jacobson Park and Marquette Park have been awarded. We're working with the contractor. Hopefully those projects will get under construction soon. But we're talking about two of the older parks in town that will finally be rehabilitated. New restroom put in at Marquette, playground equipment going to be rehabbed, so that's pretty exciting with those two areas. Any questions regarding Park and Lieu? Again, as I stated, here's your capital that's coming out of, or here's what's being constructed. Both Jacobs and Marquette Park are there. You see some funds for Contra Loma Estates also. The Rivertown Community Space, so that's the BD lot. We've done initial work on that. We've had some community involvement. It's definitely something that hopefully we can discuss with council at a later time. Currently, the construction of it is, I believe, like $4.5 million unfunded. So it's something that's an area that I know is important to the city. It's just what are we going to do with it? So we've gone through, we have some conceptual designs, we've done a lot of talking, but it is something that we do need to have I believe we need to have a more robust discussion about it. Traffic signals. Traffic signals are also pretty exciting. So you'll see that so we do get some money that's coming in from our traffic signal fees. You'll see money that's coming in from an HSIP. It's a federal grant, that $2.5 million, that will be utilized for these smart signal projects. Again, it's kind of work in process. A lot of this money comes in. We need to get a project together, so that's what we're doing with this. Any questions regarding what we have going on with the traffic signal fund?
Is that signal system upgrade, the 2.8 million, is that strictly the operation part of it? There's no physical improvements to our signals as far as the way they look or anything
Yes,
like that?
it's a combination of both. So you could see like the reflective coating, like around the heads of the lights. Battery backups would be another thing that's more physical. But I'm not looking. I don't have pole painting in there. It's basically a lot of our system's old. A lot of our system's old and deteriorating, and we just need to upkeep it. If that's replacing controllers or what it might be. But yeah, basically that is in there just as upgrades to our system.
Would that also address Councilmember Wilson's question about signals that don't line up over the travel lane?
It could. It should. And
Yeah.
that's something that we can look at quicker than that. If you have an idea, a project like this, and the county can look at it, but it works a lot better if we know where you're talking about. We can send somebody out there. We can work with the county if a head needs to be moved or there needs to be adjustments. We can know that. But a lot of it, we are proactive, but it does help. It does help to hear if anybody sees anything else. We're always looking for something that we can improve. Okay. Next, Measure J. Measure J is another fund that used on our roadways. In this case, the fund balance is coming in at about $2.5 million. We do have projects capital-wise. The stud feeds for our traffic calming project, pavement surface treatments, which again, what we talked about for a Cape Seal, also pedestrian improvements, installing curb ramps and that sort of thing. Is there any questions regarding Measure J?
So traffic calming was 434 this year, and we're showing 150 in each of the next 2 years. I know that that's a desire for folks around town that still have neighborhoods where people are speeding.
So we have two different things. We have traffic calming for specific streets. Council did authorize and direct for us to put traffic calming on Sycamore, 10th Street, as well as James Donlin. So some of that's included in here also.
What's traffic calming on James Donlin look like?
It looks like separated bike lanes, increased protection with delineated pork chops at these intersections, enhanced striping, those sort of things.
Okay, this is enough money to do all that?
No, but this is part of that. This is part of the traffic calming that we're talking about.
Okay.
This isn't all related to our traffic calming, say, speed bump project.
Okay. So is that a different on this list here? Is that a different project or a different line item?
No, it's the same project. It's
It
the
is?
traffic calming that you're seeing there is the same project.
Can we break out the neighborhood stuff, the like speed table stuff versus the, James Donlin type stuff that's kind of a bigger project?
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
So here we have, those are the projects related, median island enhancements and some other things. Tidelands, Tidelands Park, 225. Any questions regarding this?
I see the dredging project that was mentioned earlier, so this is the type of things that this money could be used for?
It is the type of things it could be used for. We're going to need an increase in funding. The dredging is going to be fairly expensive.
Sure. All right.
Okay, East Lone Tree Benefit District. So there's a rather high fund balance. Staff is looking into this to see what, how to utilize these funds the best.
What qualifies? I mean, how did we get all this money in here? That's a lot of money, $10 million or 14, but
Agreed.
okay. So that's, but maybe you can come back with just some options for us to utilize those funds.
I can do that.
Qualify. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so the Kaiser Public Facility Benefit District. Not much here. Any questions? Sorry, I guess I should change this.
So for the Kaiser Benefit Facility District, you'll see we got, 1.9 million that came in 23 and then spent in 24. So it's benefit district fees paid to expand the infrastructure and road work around the Kaiser facility as we build out. So as we collect money from there, if a developer submits for reimbursement for work they've done, it would reimburse that portion. So that's what happened, for example, between 22, 23, and 23, 24. So majority of the funds have been spent that have been collected. I'm not sure if there's any other developers that are pegged to pay into this district fee going forward. As you can see, there's only, about little over 35,000 remaining in that so far, so.
I just raised it because Richland, may be coming forward, and so the missing link for Sand Creek to Deer Valley may be there. So I'm just curious if there will be, revenue to do any other, capital in that particular area.
Well, we can take a look at it. As you said, Richland's actually going to be in the process of starting construction that road here pretty quick. But in terms of how that affects this district, we can look in.
Yeah, I don't know if they're impacted or not, but it would be interesting to see if there is revenue generation.
Okay, CFD, Police Protection Fund. Any questions regarding the CFD?
So can this money be used to fund police department operations?
Sorry, there is an error I noticed on the slide title. It says Police Protection Fund, but it's actually Public Services. If you notice how in the heading, how it
Down
says.
below it.
Yeah, so up at the top next to the page number, it's labeled Police Protection Fund, but it really should say Public Services Fund. So there's just a typo in this slide. It is correct where it says once you see the table below where it says the CFD 2018-01 Public Services, it's a Public Services Fund.
So as that fund balance keeps growing, what types of things can it be used for?
I will turn
It's
that.
for the maintenance services, similar to the street lighting landscape district. We will use it for maintenance in that
Upkeep.
in that CFD area.
So shouldn't the expenditures be higher than they're shown for I mean, if we're collecting, $845 a year or whatever, and then we're spending 37, it seems like.
So it's a relatively new district, and so the expenditures right now for maintenance services are low, but as more things come on board, that will increase.
Okay.
So the maintenance, in other words, the landscape maintenance right now is at this level. I think we recently got some other areas that we accepted, so that will need to be modified. The contractor will have to modify the contract for some new areas that we just accepted.
So I guess this area ultimately can look really nice ongoing, right? It doesn't have to degrade because there is adequate funding to replace plants and trim trees and have a
Right.
really robust maintenance program.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
expectation.
All right, yeah, 'cause folks are paying for it, so.
Right, I mean, that was my question too. We go from 2.5 to 4.2. And, the expenditures are pretty constant throughout, so it might provide us opportunities. I just want to know, what could we spend? In this
It's going to be
particular area?
primarily for the landscape maintenance in there. There's some retention basins, and there's some big ones. There's some pathways in there that are extensive that are going to need maintenance. So there is stuff that we just accepted out in that area that will require more maintenance, and we'll start using the funds more.
But the desire is to see, is there any other possible ways to spend this money?
Well, I know people hate paying taxes, fees, and assessments, and if there's money there that can enhance, their quality of life, then I think we should explore those particular options with the idea of spending money.
Okay, contracts associated with that budget sheet. Again, mostly CFDs, as Mr. Zepeda was saying, you're looking at landscape maintenance and other fire break and disking. Similar CFD. Again, you can tell, fund balance isn't growing quite as quickly, but the same thing is understood. All right, capital projects. Basically, the capital project funds are utilized to account for resources used by an acquisition or construction of capital facilities by the city. Oh, and I do believe that we have left the best for last right here. So. Okay, so capital improvements 311. 311 fund itself has transfers in from other funds. Doesn't have a funding source other than transfers in, but you'll see it's utilized quite often within the capital improvement department. when multiple funding sources are used for a project, for account keeping, it's easier to track one account code versus multiple. So you'll see that it's kind of just moves around, funds come in, funds come out. Projects that come out of the capital improvement fund are actually funded by other funds, but they just happen to be grouped within the capital for ease for us to deal with. As you see, there's some capital work that's done in here. Those numbers are related to the desal project for the most part, but there is larger things. We can go to the next sheet, which will show you the projects that we have going on. Sidewalk repair program, something that this is a program that we talk about quite a bit. People might have heard of the 50-50 program. See, there's trees that are put in next to your street or next to your sidewalk, typically in between your sidewalk and your street. There happens to be an issue, say your concrete gets lifted because of the street. The city goes in and actually will replace your sidewalk, replace your tree, replace any other damaged concrete, and allow the resident just to pay for half of the concrete purchase. Good deal for the resident because it doesn't cost them that much. Good deal for everybody because it reduces liability to get these trip hazards out of the way. So this is a program that we're continuously working on. So you'll see this is a 311 account, but much like we say in many things, this is funded through gas tax money, water fund money, and sewer fund money. And it goes into the capital fund, 311. So you're seeing it's funded by the 311 account, but it still has parent funds from other places. So it's just like a nice box that we can put projects into.
So if we spent 940,000, or we're going to this year, and we're putting it down to 450 a year for the next 2 years, isn't there enough projects around town to spend 950 if it's coming out of sewer funds and water funds and other funds?
So sewer and water, so for this, basically, you're talking about the repairs.
Mm-hmm.
So sewer clean out gets put in, we take out some concrete, this contractor would do that. Same thing with water. The amount that you're looking at right now contains rollover in it. Typically, the program is about $450,000 a year, and sometimes it's harder to get contractors under contract, so you're seeing a little bit of extra money there right now. Case in point with the 311, if you look at the L Street improvements, it's showing you that there's $13 million in there. I mean, that's a grant. That's the county grant. So it's just it's an area where funds are kept, but not necessarily they didn't come from this particular fund. Next, we'll continue with the 311. This is energy efficiency and conservation.
This was only, it falls under the Public Safety and Community Resources Department. It's managed by Julie Hosvodovich. It's just in here because it sums into the total for the 311 Capital Improvement Fund summary that will be presented. So it was just, if you were trying to add things up, you'd be like, hey, it's missing $58,000. So this budget was already discussed. It's just in here because it rolls into the summary total.
Yes, thank you.
So the revenue sources are not general fund, is that correct?
Correct. The energy efficiency, are you talking about capital improvement fund in total?
I'm
Or
just talking about this specific.
the energy
11,
efficiency,
20.
yeah, that one, there was some PG&E rebate funds from energy efficiency programs. And if you do recall, during the public safety and community resources discussion, those funds are going to run out. That's why you see zero funding. So in order to continue the CARB, I can't remember what it was called, program, the city council is going to have to allocate funds to continue those energy mandates for the city to continue those programs.
Okay. Again, just trying to distinguish between general fund and other funding.
Continuing with the 311 account, here you see the Northeast annexation infrastructure improvements. We have projects scheduled out in 2027. This, of course, is the area annexed on Wilbur and Vieira area. We've installed some facilities, water and sewer, down Vieira and some of the side streets. There are still some areas out there that have not received any infrastructure yet, and there's still plenty of infrastructure that can be constructed out there. So first things first, we're looking at water and sewer lines on St. Clair and Trembath, and then we'll be looking to move forward with whether it's storm drainage or street repairs, or street actually improvements on the rest of the areas. So actually the money's there, but the project in total hasn't been created yet.
So is it possible to show a fund balance on the bottom of this so we can see that the money's available for this?
So this is part of the overall Fund 311 fund balance, but what that 1,998,000, there's a cumulative money and resources. This was funded by, there was a Northeast annexation agreement with the county. So the city was required to put in 300,000 of property tax revenues every year. This year being the last year, the county had to contribute money towards the project through fiscal year 22-23. So the accumulation of those funds, what's in there is 1,998,000, which is pegged to then be spent fully in 26-27. So there are no additional funds outside of the almost $2 million. After that's spent, any other infrastructure costs, the city's going to have to figure out how to pay for.
Okay. I was just saying at the bottom line showing that there's 1.998 million here would just be helpful to see that the money's available to spend.
Okay.
And with that being completed, there's still enough, there's not enough funds to do all of the work out in that area. So here's your fund summary of 311. Any questions? Next, we have our development impact fees, administrative facilities, 321. There's budget in there. Currently, there is no project scheduled. This will be something that we can discuss later and see what the council's wishes might be in terms of moving forward with something within this fund.
So administrative facilities, could some of the money in here be used for the city hall work that's proposed, the $1.4 million?
So that 173,000 is actually a portion of that. The one issue with all the development impact fees that we have is we have a development impact fee study that's quite old, and we're held to those projects that are in that study. That's what we can spend the monies on. So the city has been in the process for the last couple of years trying to get that fee study updated to have realistic projects in there that the city can fund. I'm not sure of a target completion timeline for that, but for example, when we get to the parks development impact fee fund, the study from however long ago says we're going to build, a $15 million library out at the community center, which we do not have the funds to do, and nor the space no longer. So there's just unrealistic projects in that study. So the city needs to update that so that we can spend on projects that are what we've collected the money for. So.
Thank you. More into the development impact fees. Again, this is Public Works. We have some funds that were spent on furniture and equipment. In general, it's a relatively benign. Any questions? Here's the police. And again, all like Director Merchant was saying, the development impact fees is something that the city, we all need to look into. It'll help us manage these funds. And hopefully as we continue to staff up and be able to have people to do these projects, we'll be able to get this done.
So as an example, on the police side of it, we're talking about EOC improvements, talking about possible dispatch, things like that. Is that the types of projects that might be able to be used, or?
It's the type of projects that we'd like to see to be able to be used, because they need to be used for expansion as the city grows. Something like that would be great. As Director Merchant was saying, we're kind of pigeoned in with what we have initially within the development impact fees of how they could be used. Not that this is an appropriate use for it, but it's not one that we've called out. So when we go back and evaluate our development impact fees, we'll be able to focus on things that are real, not like a library. Maybe it's not like the multi-million-dollar city hall that's in there also. But yes, these would be city hall, an EOC expansion, dispatch expansion. These would all be things that could be used because it is part of us expanding as a city.
Thank you.
Park and Rec, again, Fund 324. So again, here we have a project. We have a project coming up with our bike garden that's in here. There is a good sized fund balance on it that we will continue to draw from. Again, it's trying to find the right fit for the project. We do understand that there's places that this can be spent. We just need to make sure that our documentation is in line so that we spend it appropriately. Hillcrest Assessment District 26. It's hard to believe that this one's still here, but it is. There are some funds. There is a slated project, which would be the expansion of Wild Horse Road, or basically, excuse me, the expansion of Hillcrest at Wild Horse. It would be that left turn pocket, and it's something that it's been on hold for quite a while, but there is a project there slated. That's how these funds are scheduled to be utilized. Lone Diamond Assessment District 2732. Anyway, so yeah, another one. This is an old assessment district left over from when we did a lot of the work out there. We've utilized a lot of these funds. That's why there's not much there in the past. Just so we know, we lengthened a number of term pockets. We did a lot of work out there utilizing these funds. There's a small amount left in here that I'm sure we'll find something to do with in the future. Hillcrest Highway 4 Bridge Benefit District. Again, not much there. There's not a whole lot there in terms of bridges. You know, you're talking about Highway 4 construction. You do have a culvert over across the water districts. But there's not a whole lot of money left in this, and much like the previous fund, we'll continue to look and see if something pops up. We'll be able to utilize these funds appropriately. So I'm sorry to say I'm out of slides. That's our Public Works budget, early budget presentation. As you can tell, there's a bunch of good-looking folks in this department. So I'm not sure if you guys have any general comments, if there's anything you'd like to go back on. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Any comments? No, that's very good, Scott. Thank you for doing that. That's a lot of work there, so thank you.
No, again, I'd like to thank all the people within Public Works that put this together.
Sure. Thank you very much.
And thank you for your questions. We've obviously written it down, and we go back and review the video, so we know what you've asked us to bring back and what you've asked us to present. And you will have a part 2 of the CIP presentation.
Okay. Certainly. Melissa, do we have any public comments tonight?
We have a couple people who have raised their hands. Andrew Becker.
Thank you. It's exciting to hear the city starting to talk about impact fees. It's a little frustrating that it comes after a large amount of these projects have already come in and we're running a deficit and trying to figure out how to catch up. You know, it confuses me because it seems like everything continues to be siloed. We talk about creating assessment districts to maintain landscaping and roadways, and then we see that these medians are falling into disrepair and the streets are, and we say, well, there's dollars that are there and community members that are taxed, but work isn't being done, and nobody seems to have an answer that really satisfies the community on why that's happening. You know, it frustrates me across the board the way some of these projects come forward. I mean, you drive through the new development on Hillcrest from Hillcrest out to Sand Creek, and you look on one side of the road and you see one style of sound wall, and you look on the other side of the road and you see a cinder block wall. And you wonder, does anybody even talk about a cohesive plan? I mean, what is the point of these developer agreements if we are going to have to maintain one sound wall and then we have a completely different style across the road? Are they going to both fall into that disrepair within the same timeline? I mean, it's the same thing for entering into these communities. You have monument signage going down Hillcrest up to the Safeway that doesn't even show anything on it. It just seems like it's a cinder block wall with some sort of brick facade on it that's just falling apart. And then on the other side of the road, it has the name of the subdivision. It's just, is there a cohesive plan for our community so that we can model other cities? Because you don't see that same style when you drive through other communities. You know, it's frustrating because we have historically had the lowest impact fees, but we've had some of the largest growth. How did nobody say we're gonna need a bigger city hall? And since my time is limited, I guess I'll finish with saying that for over a year now, there's been a promise of a full report out on the water park. And I don't think we need a report anymore. I think we need an all-out audit. I would like to know how many dollars have been spent on that park, what is the state of it, and what is the future state of it, and what is the cost? Thank you.
We have one more speaker.
My name is Kimberly Kate Bailey.
Kimberly?
Good evening. Just a couple of things. I saw on the spreadsheet that they had the signals at Pruitt and, oh my God, Heridan Park. And I mentioned it at the last meeting. Just wanted to know if you all had a timeline of when that was going to happen, because it's really bad there. And I heard him say something about separated bike lanes. I wanted to know if you all are thinking about that on Lone Tree, because my niece was murdered on Lone Tree on July 27th of 2024 by a drunk driver in that shared bike lane. So if you're thinking about separating the bike lane on Lone Tree as well. Then I wanted to know if the Amtrak station is leaving and going to Oakley, because that's the last thing I heard. Why are we doing improvements on it? That was the last thing I heard here, that it was leaving, going to Oakley. And then there was so much money used for cleaning up parks and stuff, but I live in that new development down at the end of Hillcrest. I've been there since it opened in 21. Well, I was there a little. There was homes already, but I walk my dog there most mornings and all the garbage cans and stuff are overflowing. So when are the garbages emptied and all that? I don't see that it's being maintained. I mean, I see them watering and cutting the grass, but the garbages are overflowing, and that's it.
I do not see anybody else wishing to speak.
Does the city council have any comments or questions of staff?
Mr. Mayor, I don't have anything on the presentation that was made, but we did receive a staff report. And, you know, I know that staff wants to get out of here at 9 o'clock because some have to be in a federal hearing. And what I would suggest, because I think this would take longer than 15 minutes, is that we just hold the issues, questions that we might have on the staff report to the, we're meeting on the 8th, right? What time?
I think. Okay, so we could put something at the beginning of the,
Can we
of
just
that.
have like the first half hour
Yes.
to finish this and then move into the other?
Yes, I think
That's all.
okay. I agree. Any other comments or questions about Scott's presentation or Director Bunting's presentation or the item we're going to be continuing till next time? No? All right. Excellent. So with that being said, does staff need anything else? No? We're all good? Well then, do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
Motion to adjourn at 8:45 PM carries 4-0.
Right. Meeting adjourned. Yeah, we have.